The night was meant to be perfect, a quiet corner booth in an upscale bistro tucked away from the city's chaos, 2 glasses of Merlot breathing beside hand-cut steaks, and the woman I was supposed to marry in less than 3 weeks. I'd even worn the watch she gave me for my last birthday, something I rarely did outside of work, but tonight felt symbolic, or it was supposed to. Daisy had already worked through 2 glasses of wine, laughing more than usual, twirling her fork between her fingers like she was trying to spin time backwards. She looked radiant. That much was still true. Hair up, smile wide. But there was something behind her eyes, a flicker, nervousness maybe. I thought it was wedding jitters. Then, somewhere between the creme brulee and the check, she leaned in, lowered her voice like she was sharing a guilty secret, and said it. "James, I'm marrying you for your last name. And to get out of debt," she laughed after, almost as if it were a joke, then sipped her wine again, but her hand trembled slightly. I caught it. Inside, something shattered, quiet, internal, like a pane of glass cracking behind wallpaper. Outside, I gave nothing away. I smiled. I nodded like it was one of those weird little things people say after a few drinks. "Your honesty is refreshing," I said calmly, and watched her relax again, laugh a little too loudly at her own confession. But I wasn't laughing. I was taking mental notes, calculating, recalibrating, because if she thought I was just a man with a good name and a wallet thick enough to cover her past mistakes, she had no idea who she was sitting across from. I excused myself from the table with a soft smile and a quick, "Back in a sec." She didn't question it. She was too busy topping off her glass from the bottle the waiter left behind. I stepped outside into the alley behind the restaurant. The December air biting, my breath visible. I pulled out my phone and called David, my lawyer and oldest friend. He answered on the second ring. "James? I need you to freeze everything," I said flatly. "Joint accounts, the estate planning docs, the wedding trust, everything." He didn't ask why. "Got it. I'll start with the prenup security account. And cancel the venue. Call Catherine at the firm and get the annulment paperwork drafted. I want it ready for signature by Monday." There was a pause, then, "You're sure?" I've never been more sure about anything in my life. I ended the call, heart pounding, not with emotion, with focus, survival mode. The same mode that helped me pull my business out of a financial nosedive 5 years ago. The one that knows exactly how to bleed clean in public and patch wounds later. In silence, I walked back to the table like nothing had changed. Daisy looked up with a coy smile. "Everything okay?" "Perfect," I said, lifting my glass. "To honesty, may it always come before dessert." She clinked her glass against mine, half laughing, unsure if I was mocking her or not. I took one final sip, laid a $100 bill on the table, and stood up. "Where are you going?" she asked, her voice light but edging into confusion. "Home," I said simply. "You should call a cab. You won't be on my Uber account anymore." Then I walked out, cold, silent, untouchable. The locksmith arrived at 8:30 the next morning, a quiet man. With a duffel bag and no questions, 40 minutes later, every lock on my property, front door, garage, back patio, was changed. I paid in cash. Next came the building manager. I handed him a written notice and an updated list of authorized occupants. Daisy's name was gone. I blocked her number, her sister's, her mother's, even the wedding planner. Emails were routed directly to David. If she wanted answers, she could get them through legal channels. That was the new arrangement. There was no explosion, no screaming match, just the methodical severing of access. No more keys, no more shared accounts, no more cozy Sunday mornings on my couch pretending we were building a life together. I deleted her fingerprint from the home security system and set a new passcode. Then I sat in the silence and listened to the hum of the refrigerator. It should have felt victorious, strategic, smart, and it did. Mostly. But beneath the sense of control was a low, dull ache. Not grief exactly. More like the aftermath of a cut you didn't feel at first because the blade was too sharp. I kept waiting for rage to come. It didn't. Just cold clarity. I hadn't lost a partner. I'd dismantled a threat. But even so, I couldn't help staring at the empty side of the bed that night, wondering how long she'd been planning it, wondering how many of our shared moments were just a means to an end. By Monday morning, David had already initiated contact with Daisy's attorney. Formal, impersonal, every exchange in writing. That was our rule now, no direct communication, Not even a text. But Daisy didn't respect rules. By Tuesday, mutual acquaintances started checking in. Her coworker messaged me on Instagram. She's devastated. Maybe just talk to her? A cousin I'd met once sent a vague message about forgiveness. I ignored them all. She knew how to play this game. Tears to friends, silence in court. Then came the threats. David forwarded an email her lawyer sent that morning. Daisy was reconsidering her willingness to sign the annulment. She claimed emotional distress, said I blindsided her, and that she'd be seeking compensation for damages. Damages. The woman who told me to my face that she was marrying me for my name and financial stability now wanted a payout for my silence. David was calm. It's bluff. Let her make a move. I nodded, but inside I was boiling. That's when the real breach surfaced. My credit monitoring app sent an alert. An application for a personal loan, $45,000, submitted under my name. The address listed? My home. The contact phone? Hers. I froze, then forwarded everything to David, including screenshots. His response: "This changes things. Attempted fraud. I'll file immediately." I didn't reply. I was in the garage, standing by my workbench, fists clenched. The betrayal didn't surprise me anymore, but the audacity, that still hit hard. She had looked me in the eyes, kissed me goodnight, slept in my bed, and now she was trying to steal my identity for a cash grab. I didn't scream. I didn't call her. I just reached for the documents David sent me that morning and signed every single one. The pickup was scheduled for Thursday at noon. David arranged it through Daisy's attorney. Strictly supervised, no exceptions. She was allowed 1 hour to collect her personal belongings. The building manager and a private security contractor I hired for the day were instructed to oversee the handoff. I wasn't going to be there. That wasn't up for discussion. At 12:07, I received a text from Marcus, the manager. They brought backup, mom and sister, already yelling. I didn't reply, just turned my phone face down and let the professionals handle it. Later, I reviewed the security footage. Part of me wished I hadn't. Daisy stood on the front steps of the building, flanked by her mother in a fur-lined coat and her sister with a phone out, recording. She was yelling, not crying. Not this time. "You think you can just toss her aside like trash?" her mother shouted at Marcus, who calmly blocked their entrance until security cleared the hallway. "She gave you her best years," the sister chimed in. "You stole her future." From behind them, Daisy's voice rose. "You humiliated me. You ruined everything." No one touched them. No one shouted back. They were allowed inside only after agreeing to the terms. One bag, no valuables from shared spaces, no confrontation. Security walked them in and stood silently while Daisy rifled through drawers and closets. Her mother whispered curses the entire time. Her sister snapped photos of everything. Maybe for some ill-conceived legal fantasy. They left after 47 minutes, empty eyes and full of venom. I never saw them. I never planned to. Some bridges don't need burning. Some collapse under the weight of what they carry. By Friday, David's letters were on their way. Cease and desist notices sent to Daisy, her mother, and her sister. The language was sharp, factual, and laced with legal weight. Each envelope included exhibits. Screenshots of Daisy's admission, messages discussing my assets, and the loan application in my name, with forged consent. Also attached, a debt summary compiled by our financial investigator, $82,000 across 4 credit cards, 2 defaulted personal loans, and a pending collection from a failed boutique venture. The claim she made to friends that I abandoned her without warning, stole her wedding funds, or cheated were now legally actionable. The family's tone shifted fast. No more dramatic texts, no new posts. No more sob stories whispered through third parties. They understood now. This wasn't about emotions anymore. It was about truth, reputation, and the consequences of weaponizing lies. I wasn't just defending myself. I was setting the record straight. On paper, by mid-February, the fallout was visible. Her credit tanked after the failed loan attempt triggered a fraud investigation. Lenders closed in. Daisy's lease wasn't renewed. She couldn't afford it without the wedding funds she'd counted on. She moved back in with her parents, who now spoke of bad advice and unfair timing. She picked up 2 part-time jobs, retail during the day, delivery at night. The medical supply company didn't fire her, but she was quietly moved off leadership projects. Word spreads fast in tight industries. Still, no apology, just anger. She claimed I ruined her future. as if it hadn't been hers to protect, as if I'd owed her a bailout for the life she built on sand. But the narrative changed. Friends grew silent. Mutual contacts stopped choosing sides. They'd seen the documents, the screenshots, the attempt to steal. No more sympathy posts, no more smirks behind wine glasses, just silence. Truth has a way of echoing longer than noise. Months passed. I moved into a smaller place, nothing flashy, just quiet. I went back to therapy, something I hadn't done since my divorce years ago, this time, not for grief, but for clarity, to understand why I ignored the signs, why I let charm outweigh instinct. I didn't chase revenge, didn't monitor her every move. I let the silence do what it does best, heal and reveal. Business stayed steady, reputation intact. Friends I thought I lost quietly came back around. I kept conversations short, boundaries firm. There's peace in knowing you. Walked away with your name, your dignity, and your future still yours. And her? She became a chapter, not the whole story. Sometimes strength isn't loud. It's not breaking things or shouting, "I told you so." Sometimes it's the quiet signing of a document. The changed lock, the unanswered call. I don't regret loving her. I regret not stopping sooner. But I'm free now, and freedom, I've learned, often begins the moment you refuse to play by someone else's script and start writing your own.